everything I can to fit into the stereotype.
I was tagged to see if I could try to provide some advice to you. So I watched your video a couple times through just to see that I understood all the issues. I don't know how far along you are into your transition, but it's all about perspective, okay? So it's all about understanding that everything is going to be harder for us when we compare it to cisgender people, because we will never fit just automatically. Everything is harder, and that's why the road of transitioning is not for the faint of heart. I made a video one time saying weak people do not transition, which is why I think it's ridiculous when they say that transitioning is a trend, because weak people do not take on something that forever puts you on the outside. I want you to know that you're valid. I want you to know that all of the feelings you have, we've all felt and continue to feel. I've had 3 surgeries. I feel pretty good about myself, but that does not change the fact that I still have broad shoulders, that for augmentation, they sit differently than they would for a cis woman. Like, there's so many different things that are just part of the reality. And understanding that that realistically, kind of the image you have in your head is probably different than the reality of what is possible. I will say you look fantastic, and your voice sounds really good. I wouldn't really bat an eye if I was out in public and saw you. I wouldn't be like, oh, that's a trans sister. Like, also understanding that a lot of times we are our worst critics. I get a lot of people tell me I pass pretty consistently, but I don't always see that. I see the things that don't pass, or I see how, oh, I still look pretty similar to how I started before. You know, there's always going to be that voice kind of telling us that we're not enough, that we don't blend in, that we're not wanted, that people are uncomfortable with us. Which is why transitioning is, in a lot of ways, it's taking the bull by the horns. Yeah, you're not wanted everywhere you go, but there's plenty of people who do accept you and who do love you. I guess what I want to make sure is that you do not have the expectation that eventually you're going to reach happy and uncomplicated. I think you absolutely can hit happy at some point, but uncomplicated is not part of our lives. For us trans women, we still have to get our prostates checked at, 40 or 50 years old. Like, there's things that are always going to set us apart and kind of keep us feeling like we're on the outside looking in. So you have to kind of frame your perspective around the reality that it will never be as effortless for us as it is for cisgender people. And I'm sure cisgender people will say, like, oh, it's not effortless for us. I'm simply talking about just to have an identity, to not have to prove our worth and our place in this world. That's automatically given for cisgender people. Transgender people, we're kind of digging our own roads out. And that's the process. So I want you to know you're not alone. You're doing great. And yeah, feel free to reach out if you need more support.